Hello, it's Burgess Taylor, and I'm doing a coffee chat on a Friday. Mostly it's an update. I'm about to revamp my YouTube trailer. And I wanted to talk about things first because I'm going to be making some changes on YouTube. I think it's time to sort of revamp a few things, and I wanted to talk about them. Oh, that's good coffee. I went out in the rain today, the pouring down rain, and it is like our road, our yards, some of our neighbors' yards look like we have a pond. It's been raining for days, on and off for days now. I don't want another flood. We've had enough of those lately, but it's beginning to look a lot like a flood around here again. The sky's falling, y'all. It's just raining. I found this quote. Everything starts as somebody's daydream by Larry Niven. I want to make changes on YouTube. If you've watched some of the two videos or one of the videos from the newsletter, you've read the blog post. For those of you who are curious, the blog post is password. The password is in the newsletter right below the link for the blog post. It is there. Same password as last time, I do believe. I did one of those password protected blog posts. Some of the things that I've been thinking about is because I have extended myself too far with what I'm doing with YouTube and Patreon and the website and my Journey with Burgess Facebook group. I want to do more projects. I want to do more DIYs. I want to work on some other things that are creative. And part of my issue with some of this is that I haven't had time for other things. Now I've been taking some time for me, taking some time for self-care, actually taking days off. Yesterday was a day off. I talked to my cousin who lives in Indiana for almost 2 hours, and we caught up. It was so great to talk to her. I spent time with Mr. Rockstar. We started watching The Iron Fist, and of course we watched Supernatural. And a lot of the shows that we watched lately, characters being killed off, or like murder and mayhem. Oh my. Yeah, not real happy with the whole situation with the Lethal Weapon TV show. We absolutely love. That's one of my Mr. Rockstar's favorite TV shows, and he is so upset. But we can change things, and sometimes we get a little afraid to make those changes. Sometimes we relish those changes. These changes for me have been coming for a while. I'm going to be changing things. It's not going to be that much different, but I'm not going to be doing videos on Sundays very often, maybe once a month. My goal with the changes is to make better quality videos, better content videos. I don't want to spread myself so thin that I don't have time for self-care, that I don't have time for myself, that I am feeling guilty when I'm spending time with my family or when I take some time for myself, because I'm doing that because I have all these other things in my head that I feel like I ought to be doing instead. I ought to be taking better care of myself. I ought to not skip meals because I'm too busy to go fix myself something to eat, to heat up leftovers. Because I'm too busy trying to get things done. I am too busy to read because I feel like if I'm not doing what I need to be doing, if I don't have this content done, and I do content as I go. As the things come up, I don't do a whole lot of content ahead of time because I am a chronological journaler. I'm a chronological planner. I don't do things too far ahead. Now, there are some things that I can do a bit ahead, and I'm going to try to do some more things like that. So if there are videos that I can do a little bit ahead, like if y'all would like for me to do a Q&A, please feel free to put some questions down. I've done a few of those, and if you want me to, I can do a Q&A video. And I've answered a lot of questions. Like some people had recommended topics for coffee chats. I think I pretty much covered every single one of those. But the Stephen King book, and I love all of those books, and I think it's worth the read. I probably should do a review. The book, I'm reading some fiction books, some non-fiction books, but I'm also reading this. This was recommended by somebody else. It was a gift to me from a friend who knows that I'm a shark lover. And somebody else recommended it right after my friend said that they had sent it to me. It is called Meg, a Novel of Deep Terror by Steve Alton. 2 words, Jurassic and shark. It's about a megalodon. That's why it's called Meg. And there's a movie coming out with Jason Statham over the summer with this very book. So I have the Jaws book. I read it a long time ago. I have the movie. I love sharks. I love sharks. I love shark movies. I like shark books. So anyway, I'm trying to take some time for me. I'm also reading Craft a Life You Love by Amy Tangerine, along with The Miracle Morning by Hal Elrod, and this book right here, You Are Badass by Jen Sincero. Taking some time for myself to get some reading done. One of the books that I have actually been loving is this book called The Manic, A Daily Dose of Wonder by Jill something or another, and I'm not even going to try to butcher her name. This was recommended months and months and months and months, maybe, I don't know, 6 or 8 months ago by Dee Dee Willingham. Well, I had a coupon and a gift certificate to Thrift Books, and I finally got this book along with a couple of other ones, along with the Creative Journal and the Journal Revolution. So I haven't really had time to look through anything really but this book. And I'm going to be using some of the stuff that's in this book to sort of do how I do some of my journal stuff. I am really excited about setting up my journal, y'all. I'm going to be showing that video. That video will probably be up Saturday or Sunday because this will be the last week I actually do a video on the weekend like this for YouTube, because this week I took some time off from YouTube to sort of think about things and to complete the newsletter. Just trying to figure things out as I was thinking through things. I did a lot of journaling about journaling. I did some journaling about planning. I've realized that the more I work on things intuitively, following my gut, the better off I am, the more creative and passionate I feel, the more I'm actually able to get things done. That comes with the journaling, with the writing, with the planning, with these videos, following my intuition. And part of what I'm doing lately, where I've been making changes due to Project Self, has to do with a lot of different things. So I have realized that I need to be more mindful. I need to be more patient, y'all. One of these things, and I'm going to read what I wrote. We can find beauty, creativity, and be awed by all different kinds of things. But mostly we can do that by the simple, mundane pleasures in life. That sort of, don't forget to smell the roses. Things like, somebody commented on one of the videos I did outside where the wind blew and you could see the expression on my face, by something like the breeze, the sunshine, the rain on our faces, the scent of freshly mowed grass, the smell of roses in our garden, the smell of rain. I've had enough of that lately. The smell of honeysuckles, and those are wild, the wisteria blossoming in my yard. Oh my God. The sound of a child's laughter, the caress of our partner's hand on ours. And if we're mindful, if we're appreciative, if we pay attention, and if we are patient, some of these simple pleasures, those simple things like that, the things that we could actually write down in our gratitude log or our gratitude notebook, or we could journal about, create a journal spread about those very little simple things that come throughout the day or throughout the week, however you journal. If we are mindful, like I said, and these simple pleasures, these simple little everyday mundane kind of things that happen, little tiny things that we don't necessarily pay attention to unless we're mindful, unless we're staying in the moment. Those can be a part of our moments, the parts of our moments that we are appreciative of, that we chronicle in our journals, that help us make those changes in our lives. If we just take the time, make our ability to be mindful an actual skill, turn that into a skill, just like we do with our ability to draw or paint or write. But it takes time, and it takes effort, and it takes practice, and it takes patience, because you're not going to see the outcome right away. You're not going to see the changes that are coming, that are happening. Sometimes we don't see them right away. Sometimes it takes time to develop the skill. I know for me with drawing and painting, I haven't really seen it because I'm right in front of it. It's like the forest for the trees kind of thing. But when I take some time away from something like if I go back to one of the older journals, when I did the journal flip through, the old journal, the current journal, and then the new journal, when I was doing that, I saw the difference. When I was looking back at my sketchbook, when I was looking at the tree and the different, it's time, I was going to do that, but we've had so much rain, I haven't been able to be outside. Mr. Rockstar was going to actually film me drawing, but I can't do that out in the rain. Well, I could with an umbrella, but I'm not taking my camera out in that kind of rain. I don't have the equipment to do filming like that while it's raining. So time and practice. Patience and progress and practice. When the changes don't show up very quickly, though, sometimes we can get frustrated. When we don't see immediate progress, our enthusiasm can wane, and then we can give up. We can quit before we've actually really paid attention to the progress. I did that with the 100-day project, sort of. I got overwhelmed with everything that was going on. I was trying to do pictures more to Instagram and to journal and draw and stuff daily. So that I didn't do very well with. And I had internet issues on and off. I've had internet struggles. So instead of continuing through what we're doing, through the process of making changes, of learning and growing and practicing, we'll give up, or our enthusiasm wanes, and you just kind of, it just falls to the wayside. Sometimes we actually realize that we have given up, and then sometimes we don't. Sometimes it just, so like I said, it just kind of dwindles. But sometimes I think part of it's that we need to give ourselves permission to make changes, permission to fail, permission to make mistakes, permission to play, permission to practice, permission for self-care, permission to stay true to ourselves and what our goals and our dreams are, sometimes permission to change those goals and dreams, permission to stumble. Even if we're struggling with learning something, permission to realize that it's okay sometimes to struggle. Sometimes we need to have more patience with ourselves, and we need to give ourselves permission to have some time to struggle. And the newsletter has really helped me kind of reformat where my thinking has been with YouTube, how I want to progress with things on YouTube, because I really do want to grow on YouTube and Patreon. That's one of my goals, is to grow on YouTube and Patreon. I would like to become financially independent. I need to learn how to do other things with passive income. I don't know if I want to sometime or another create like a Journal 101 workshop or a journal for beginners. I have been thinking about some of that, but I really don't know how to do that. I have a website, but I don't know how to set that stuff up. I actually need somebody to help me revamp the website because the ads and stuff aren't coming up right. I don't know anything about code. I actually need a bit of help with that, and I can't unfortunately afford to pay anybody to do that right now, and I don't know anybody who can really do that. So I'm taking a hit with some of that because I pay for the website, the hosting, and the newsletter out of my pocket. I don't really earn enough with YouTube for every single thing that I would like to get done because I'm still sort of small. So I thought, well, what could I do to make the changes so that I could have better quality content on YouTube so that I'm not struggling so much, so that I can put more concentration on what I am doing. And then when I feel really good and I've got time and I've had the ability to be able to create some extra content, I could upload the extra content sometimes on Sundays. I want to do more live videos. I was going to do a live video this past Monday evening, but I didn't have internet. Our internet went wonky because they came back out here to fix the box. So what are my actual changes? Well, I'm making changes to the planning, I'm making changes to the journaling, and I feel really good about those things. I'm going to do a video where I show the actual changes with the plan. I've kind of actually went full circle. I've come back to something, and I'll show you that. So on Mondays, which has always been my coffee, well, it wasn't always. Wednesdays actually used to be my coffee chat day. And then I switched to Mondays. Well, I think we're going to go back to Wednesday coffee chats. We're going to go back to Coffee with Burgess on Wednesdays. And then on Mondays, I'm going to do planner goal review sort of videos on Mondays. And then on Fridays, I'm going to call that Journal Mojo. And I'm going to start a whole thing with Journal Mojo It'll be some kind of journaling video on Fridays. Fridays was my journal jam, which is sort of the same sort of kind of thing, but you won't always get a journal with me. Maybe you'll get something different. Maybe I'll talk about journal supplies. Same thing with on Mondays. Mondays is going to be sort of the opposite side of that. And if somebody can come up with a better name, that would be wonderful, because I've been trying to think about some kind of planner, goal, something like that, and I couldn't come up with a name. Like, I came up with Journal Mojo, and I was like, yeah, I like that. So I don't know, Motivational Monday won't work because motivational doesn't always come in with planners. I don't like Motivate Me, but I don't know what else. So if somebody can come up with something, a phrase for Mondays, that would work. But Mondays is going to be where I do a plan with me, maybe, or where I show you the plan with me, but then I do a talk about something else that has to do with planners or goals or how I'm changing things. Like that will be this Monday. I'm going to do a plan with me, and I'm actually going to show you the plan with me, and that should come up Monday morning because I'm going to be filming that tomorrow, and I should have it edited and scheduled and everything. I'm also going to show you the journal setup because this journal ends, I've actually counted out, y'all. This will be today's, this was yesterday's. Okay, this will be today's, and then I need to change this because this won't be Sunday. This will be Saturday, Sunday, and then I can do like one page for Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, maybe. But that's it. And then the journal is over. I will not have a whole week in this journal. Next week, I'll be done with this. That's if I don't do any extra journaling. If I don't do any extra journaling. If I don't do anything else in the journal. Yeah, because I did my intentions for the new moon, and some of this has to do with the intentions. One of my intentions with the new moon was to remember that I am deserving of respect, love, and that my time is valuable. To remember that regardless of how many mistakes I make, I am learning from those very mistakes and not beat myself up over the mistakes. They are experiences. To continue on my path towards a healthy and fit life, one day at a time, one step at a time, figuratively and literally. To grow on YouTube and Patreon, to be consistent, but to have more fun. To be more creative and to get out of my comfort zone more. To remember that if I feel uncomfortable or a bit scared, then it's an alarm to remind me that I'm getting out of my comfort zone, and that's okay. Now, sometimes it's different, but you know what I'm saying. To relax and laugh more. To take time for myself to practice self-care. To take artist dates, to live in the moment, to be mindful. I have to remember that it's okay to take time off. It's okay to take time off. It's okay to take a day off. So Sundays is my day off. Now, like I said, I can do things ahead of time and pre-schedule things for Sunday every now and again, but Sundays is going to be my day off. So I'm looking for a name for Monday because Monday is going to be planner stuff. I'm still figuring out some of this, but I want to do a new trailer for YouTube. I am trying to revamp a few things. I don't have an outro. I had an old one. I need to revamp. I can't pay for a service for outros. I have to figure out how to do one on my own, and I don't know how to do that clickable stuff. So I'm still kind of learning some of this. But for the future of my channel, it's all about chronicling my creative life and the processes with that. I feel really good about it. I feel really good about it. So I'm going to show you the setup of my bullet journaling in a traveler's notebook, and I'm going to show you the setup of my new journal, and I'm going to start doing more videos, hopefully at least once or twice a month, where I do an artist date and a sketch. Those videos will go up on Patreon first, and then I will either do the unedited version or the very limited editing version on Patreon, and then a sort of time-lapse edited version on YouTube for some of those. I want to have a little bit more separation with Patreon and YouTube, but Patreon does get previews of pretty much almost everything if I do it ahead of time. If I can do it ahead of time, they get the preview. Since most of these things are actually filmed kind of as I go, like normally I was doing Monday's coffee chat and filming them either on Sunday afternoon or filming them Monday morning, and then trying to get them out. It's too hard to film them that way. But now that I'm changing things up, I actually will have some time. And that's one of the big reasons why I'm moving the coffee chats to Wednesdays. I thought about it, the more and more I thought about it, the plan as you go just wasn't working for me because I was in the middle of planner boot camp and changing things, and there were days when I didn't plan at all, when I journaled about planning and I was figuring things out. And I've done a lot of different things, and I have nowhere near set up everything in this, so I'm actually going to be redoing some things, but I'm excited. I'm excited about the changes because it feels right after going through Plan Your Piece with Allie and Planner Bootcamp with Enthusiastically Dawn. I have learned so very much about myself and my planning and simplifying things. Since I was so close to finishing this journal, I got really excited and I started putting things in here that I sometimes wasn't putting in here. I was putting in other journals. And the more I did other things, like practicing a little bit of stuff like this, doing, I actually did more tip-ins. I did all kinds of fun stuff. I did some journaling. I actually did a little tip-in of planning things because, yeah, I had some fun. I've done a lot of journaling. I did, like I said, I did the intentions for the new moon. I wrote a quote down. I'm actually probably going to do a little bit more poetry, short poetry in these journals. I'm going to be changing. It'll be much more of an Omni journal kind of thing. I just don't think I'm going to put a whole lot of planning stuff in my Omni journal. And more of my creativity is going into this. And I think I feel good. So if I have 3 or 4 or 5 days, like if I have not 3 or 4, if I have 3 or 4 pages for one day in this journal, it's okay. I'm not going to treat them so preciously anymore. Like I didn't put certain things because I didn't want to use it up too fast. But the chunkier this has gotten, the better I've felt. And I love a chunky journal. They do get a little hard to manage sometimes. Like this won't really fit in the traveler's notebook anymore because it is so chunky. I mean, I can squeeze it down, but this is so chunky. I actually have a picture of this. And I'm thinking about taking that picture and something else, a few other really good pictures that I've taken or something. And that's what I'm thinking about creating my intro with. So yeah, I feel really good. I feel so much better. It does get some, like I said, sometimes it does get a little bit hard to manage when they get this chunky, but I love how it looks. I love how it looks, y'all. Love how it looks. Yeah, this is it. And some of these pages in the very back have been used, so this is it right here. And this is today's page. I do want to give a big shout out to Bree. Her journals are fantastic. Whether you have one custom made or you have one where she puts the printable part of her art on these pages, they're gorgeous. I love how they look. I love them. And this one was custom, the wisteria one, but it is a print of her work, not her actual work. And I told her I was perfectly fine with that because she's been doing those flowers. Y'all, I'm just so excited. And we're going to talk some soon. I'm going to talk about supplies. I'm going to do the video for Patreon first, and then I will do a video for y'all about supplies for April and May. I'm going to combine them because I've been changing things up about how I do that too. I'm getting more and more into my own and what I like to do. I've tried a number of different things that other people have done. I've been following along with Courtney from Little Raven Ink on Patreon and on YouTube, how she chronicles her supplies. I've been following along with Liz Steele and quite a few other people for a good long while about how they chronicle their supplies. A lot of the urban sketchers and the plein air sketchers chronicle their supplies in their sketchbooks. And I've been following that with quite a few different people and how they chronicle their supplies to sort of figure out my own thing with that. And I'm getting closer and closer to doing that. Sometimes it's good to find inspiration and motivation to emulate until you find your way through. And I am slowly but surely seriously finding my way through my own thing. And I think I'm headed in a really good direction with the channel and with my journal and my planners. I'm still going to be I am using the master planner from Alexis from Miss Trenchcoat for projects and for work stuff, like bigger idea projects, not for the daily sort of videos very much, but for my bigger idea projects. I'm still working on quite a few things I need to do and finish up, but I think I'm headed in the right direction. Like I said, if you have an idea for a name for Monday, let me know. Something planner goal, something related I need to figure out. I'm still trying to think of a name. So y'all have a good one, and I'll see you again soon. Bye, y'all.